Welcome to the KO Boxing Show. Haven't we got a big show tonight? Michael, the great Katsidis, the 2000 Olympian, WBO World Champion. Michael, welcome to the KO Boxing Show.
Peter Maniatis, it's a pleasure to be on the show.
Great to have you on, mate. Mate, let's go back to the early days. What was it like in the 2000 Olympics? Because you remember Cathy Freeman winning gold. Remember all his great glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
You're all part of that. What was it like for you?
It's just, it was something, a dream that I had since a very young age, to be at the top of my sport, like boxing. I wanted to be involved in boxing since I was 7 years of age, watching the Rocky movies, Rocky Balboa. And so then when the Olympics come up, I said, right, this is what I'm going for. This is my goal. I'm going for it. And I was in my own element. I didn't need to be around all the hurrah. I just sort of did my own thing. But it was definitely, if you wanted it to be, it was very overwhelming, the whole experience. But I was in the class. I had in the team with Paul Miller, Denny Green, had some, James Swan. They're all credited boxing. These guys will be on the Hall of Fame in the Australian boxing. Denny Green and lots of these. It was a pretty strong team. Henry Collins. How can I forget so many names in that team? They're all good boys. But boxing just at that stage, especially on the amateur level, it wasn't really respected as much as, say, your swimming would be and all the rest of it, because we still hadn't achieved the gold medal in the sport of boxing and the Olympic Games. So great experience and all, but not quite on the level where the other sports were.
No, fair enough, Michael. Also, mate, I think you're going to end up being in the Hall of Fame. There's no issue about that here in Australia. Yeah. In 2007, you went across to England and you fought Graham Earl. You won a WBO world title. What did that feel like?
Mate, that was like, I think there was an interview after that fight against Graham Earl when I said, if there could have been a time in my life that I think I'm at my absolute happiest, I said this would be it right now. And I was at the interview, and I thanked Brendan Smith for everything that he'd gone through with me, because it's like, just, it's not everything's always done by yourself. It's a team effort, and I was just so ecstatic, because I left Australia. I went and started training in New York, and then in Hollywood originally, and then went to New York in the freezing cold, and then went over to England, and then we conquered, and in fine fashion as well. I think that year we got fight of the year and round of the decade. I think round 4 against Graham Earl in that fight. So yeah, it's definitely a great way to win the world title.
You defended against Monsot, who's an Aussie-based Filipino now, and that was a cracking fight as well.
Yeah. So you got the fight against Monsot. You got the fight against Graham Earl, and then in order, Graham Earl, Monsot. Then after that, Casameo. Those 3 fights alone were nominated to be fights of the year. And I was nominated as most exciting fighter in the world. Those just 3 wars that I had, and that that for me in itself was that was like the pinnacle of my career, I believe, when you would have seen me at my best.
You also fought Juan Diaz, and that was a split decision loss for the IBO world title. That was a great fight.
Yeah, it's good. I can talk to you on the video. See my hand here like that, like there's this right one here. That's just.
Yeah.
I hit Juan Diaz in the forehead, right? So in the second round of that fight. Oh, my dog, sorry.
What kind of dog is that, Michael? What have you got?
Yeah, I've got a French. There's a big boy. Yeah, there is. There's a big French black to be up there. Have a look.
Oh, okay. Gee, he's a ripper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he is.
Now he's on camera. Yeah, he knows that he's a show off.
Okay. Yeah. So the Diaz fight, you hurt your hand, which was unfortunate.
Yeah. So because I punched him in the forehead. So rule number 1: never punch a Mexican in the forehead. So there's the second round of a 12-round fight. So I pretty much had to like fence all the way through that fight without using the right hand. But what that did in my career was give me an advantage, because whenever I threw a straight right like that from that day onwards, I couldn't deliver it, because what would happen was it would cause so much pain. but I ended up growing calcium deposits over the top of it. But just during training, when I would try, I would go over the top. It's like a sort of bolo right, so it would just go over the top of their guard and catch them. So it was just like one of the things that was meant to be. You know, it's just fate as you would have it, and it sort of like escalated me in the ranks and helped me defeat some very formidable opponents.
For sure, you fought Juan Manuel Marquez, and he's a living legend. Let's be quite honest. He's knocked out Manny Pacquiao. He's had wars with Pacquiao. He's had wars with everyone. Mayweather. What was it like? You had him down in the round 3. We were all watching the fight here, and it was such an emotional fight because you were doing it for your brother Staffy as well. You carried so much into that one.
Yeah. It's probably one of the highest points in my life, and at the same time, one of the saddest points in my life. But being Greek, you two would be able to relate. You know, with Staffy Katsidis, he's a very well known, one of the most prominent jockeys in sport in Australian racing. He was Australia's leading jockey that year. He died 3 weeks before that fight, and I think for the first time ever in my life, just finishing an opponent, I hesitated. I'd always just jump in, boom, 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 right punches, right place, and right timing. And with Juan Diaz, I dropped him. He was out. He was ready to go. And I heard the commentators going, and he's thinking of his brother. You know, as they said that, I sort of, for that 1 second, that split second that you can't buy, you never get that time back again. I hesitated, and I thought, oh, I better start doing something. I started trying these big bombs, and then he's such a smart guy. He started doing these ones. So I'm swinging like this, and he's doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and he's such a smart guy. So all the credit to him. You know, like you can't take anything away from him, and I think that's one big part of the sport. Is that you've got to give credit where credit's due. That's all I have up to Juan Diaz.
You fought in so many world titles. That was a WBA, WBO world title. Then you fought Robert the Ghost Guerrero. That was for a world title. I mean, that you put in a great fight there as well. What was he? He's very awkward, isn't he?
Yeah. I think as you said, Robert Guerrero sort of out. You know, because they're all big fights. They were like very big fights. One war after the next war. But in saying that, I'd never had any hard sparring. And then Brendan always looked after me well, but we tested the limits. We pushed to the boxing boundaries as far as we could take it. And if it weren't for Brendan pushing me that far, like, you know, getting behind me like that, I would never have made it. You know, I don't think I would have never ever made it. So you know, I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, like that. I tell you what, Robert Guerrero, mate. If you first started that fight, when I go to, have you seen it? Do you remember the start of it?
Yep.
Yeah, and sort of, I had to throw him off his game plan because I had a split from here to here in my eye, so I couldn't. My timing was never going to be out. This is in training, and so all I could do was pad work and pad work in the lead up to that fight. Then so I wasn't going to be fit enough, so I thought I'd throw him off his game plan. And as we started, we're in the ring, and they're saying we want a good, clean fight. La 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 la. And I'm going, what are you looking at? Just to try and throw him off his game plan, and it almost worked because sort of bamboozled him. At one stage, I threw 2 shots to the body. He's folded over, and I went 2 chops to the head. And the referee jumped in and said, low blow. Gave him 5 minutes to recover. That I was never going to be fit enough to have my timing and accuracy over the guy for the entire duration of the fight. So I lost that fight. So it's an unfortunate thing, but I just thought that was a real classic in as far as my career and as far as highs and lows, and that was a real exciting moment. You know, just that. What are you looking at? Thing. You know, yeah.
You fought Ricky Burns as well, so you fought a lot of times in England. That was like your second home in America, and you trained in Thailand. It must have been exciting times, Michael. What are some of the great stories? Because you're one of the marquee fighters for Golden Boy Promotions back then.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I remember, tell you what, I remember walking into a gym on La Brea Avenue, and this is on the way from Marina Del Rey to LA. We would go and train the Wild Card gym where Manny Pacquiao and Freddie, all them guys, and Justin Fortune, Freddie Roach, all the guys. I remember having heaps of sparring sessions with Sugar Shane Mosley. Due respect, you know who that guy was. But there's a gym called the Pound for Pound gym on La Brea Avenue, and I'm sitting there, doing my bandages up one day. Started talking to this guy, and he goes, oh yeah, so he's that dark American, and he's standing there and he goes, so who are you fighting? Who you preparing to fight? He always did it. This guy would always be watching me training. I said, oh yeah, I'm fighting Casemiro next, and he's just leaning back against the side ring. He said, oh yeah, Casemiro, huh? And he started talking to me. I said, you know what, mate? I said, you look, you're just like Denzel Washington. Denzel, like, you know, the famous actor Denzel Washington. You look just like him, mate. And he goes, funny you should say that. And we started talking for a while. And then Brendan comes up and he says, Mick, do you know who that was? You've been talking to Denzel Washington. And I said, you're joking me. That was just Denzel Washington. He goes, yeah, he owns all the gyms around here. I said, oh, so he should say, I think he was ringside at one of them fights. And it was just like that. See that there in itself. And it was like it was meant to be. Like the very first day when Brendan and I landed in Hollywood, we've gone down. We stayed at the big Roosevelt Hotel. We walked across the road. They had like the premiere for Rocky. Would have been how we go, like 2006. It was a Rocky 5 or Rocky 6. I'm not sure. It was a premiere for one of them two. We walked across the road, got all the street cordoned off, and here's Rocky Balboa himself, like shaking his hand, all the crowd and stuff. And Brad and I were just walking past, shook the hand of Rocky Balboa. Meant to be. was meant to be. And you know what? There was a promoter. You know about Lou DiBella?
Yeah, Lou DiBella.
It was in the elevator at the Roosevelt Hotel on the way down. And said, I'll meet with Danny Green, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's just going over my head. I was just zoned in on my goal. But, like, that was the first day. So I was like, it's meant to be. Meant to be. So, yeah, there's a whole line of stories just like that happen, you know.
We've got to thank Nick Alex as well, because he's organised this interview to get these great stories off you, Michael. You were living the dream. What was it like dealing with a golden boy, Oscar De La Hoya? Yeah,
good. Oscar was really cool, like for a super rich guy, and like, I mean, he's successful. But like, you know, when I was 17 years old, when the pay TV press came out, I always watched Oscar De La Hoya. And when I was watching, I was like, oh, you know, I was like that, you know. And next thing you know, he's standing next to me. He's just promoted to fight. I'm the captain for the Mexicans, out of tribute to pay homage, like, you know, because Cesar Montoya actually got like a brain bleed, and they respect the way that I fought. And you know, they said, look, can you please captain us against the Mexicans, the Filipino side? So I did that. It was at Sacramento, and then they had like a after the fights were all said and done, we were sitting there and they did like a what do you call it? The after the fight conference and stuff, and you know, the Mexicans and the Filipinos are talking about the wins and losses, and I'm just standing back there with Oscar, just sitting there with him, and he's having little chuckles with me and stuff. And I go to his office, and Brandon and I would go there and we have meetings with him, and you know, he's just a cool guy, just cool, and he's just like one of us, just talks, just a friendly guy. And that's one of the most remarkable things. Like that's when I was sitting there going, mate, in boxing, I've really made it. I've made it. You know, that's one of those points when I was rubbing shoulders with that guy.
Yeah. If there was a fight, Michael, that you never got, but you always wanted, what fight was that?
I don't think they really. You know what? We flew over to the Philippines to fight Manny Pacquiao. We flew over there and called him on in his own backyard, because that was meant for me. Like that was one that I think, if any, Manny Pacquiao, because it's just my aggression style. You know how he jumps in, jumps out, jumps in, jumps out. Before he even jumped out, I would have already been in there. And call me crazy, call me whatever you want. You know, like B grade fighter, A grade fighters, whatever. That's the one that makes it. You know, that's all day long. That would have been the one against Manny Pacquiao.
Funny you should say that, because the Filipino people love your style of fighting, because they love brawl. You are like an icon over there. It would have been massive if you had fought Manny in the Philippines. I'm sure they would have got 100,000 crowd there. But look, back then I remember you were compared to Arturo Gatti. They were saying the second coming. You were everyone's favourite fighter to watch. And it's a credit to you, mate, that you've come back to Australia, and you're a humble guy, and you've reached the heights, and you're definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame here in Australia. I think it's a 5-year waiting period after you retire. So you'll be in the ballot after the 5 years. Mate, before we sign you off, is there any funny story you've got to share with us about boxing? There's got to be some funny stories.
Oh, mate, too many. Like, where do I pick? No, I can't. I mean, I think that's pretty funny in itself about Denzel Washington. But
that's probably a good one.
Mate, yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
Before I even laugh, I also want to thank everyone, mate. Like, Nick Alexis has been excellent throughout my career, and Brendan, like, thank him forever and a day. And look, moving forward in life, like Brendan has a show on the weekend. Stephen Sparks, I think you might know, he's defending his title. I think he's the next guy up and coming. It's on the 11th of July in Toowoomba. So I'll be heading there to support those guys, what they've got going on there. Stephen Sparks and Brendan Smith doing it again. It's going to be really good to see. And of course, thanks to you, Peter, and over the years, what you've done for sport of boxing. You've got a huge following within the community and with all the Greek people as well. Thank you very much, mate. And it's been great talking to you today.
No, thank you for your time, Michael. And of course, thanks to Nick as well. And you take care. And obviously, you guys are COVID free over there. Here in Victoria, mate, we've still got the face mask.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
We've got to get into battle ourselves.
Yeah. Good luck with it,
Before we
mate.
sign you off, mate, who are you tipping? Jeff Horn or Tim Zhu?
No brainer, isn't it? Who do you think?
I can't tip. I can't. That's why I'm asking the expert. Who are you
okay, all day long. Zoo is going to take it all day long. Look. Even with like when the Mundine and Green thing was going on, I just said to him straight up and down, like I sparred Green all through the Olympics, and much as like affable guy, I like him and all this stuff, and I like Mundine too, but straight up and down, I said Mundine's going to win. Can't say too much about the second fight that they had and how things were going, but I just know at their best, Mundine was going to win. I'm saying this one here, I'm not picking sides here with the Jeff Horn thing. I'm just saying, so he's going to win. Just full stop. If you can take, full stop. Yeah. So,
appreciate the tip, Michael. You take care, my friend.
All right, thank you too. Yeah, pleasure, mate.
Thank you once again.
Thank
Michael
you.
Katsidis.
Right, yeah.
Great.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.